Hello, eighth grade. We are jumping into lesson 13 today. Now, I know we have skipped quite a few lessons, but as I told you previously, we are not going to write the argumentative essay for this particular unit, but we are going to create the infographic. Okay. So you guys are going to create an infographic based off your research. So I know some classes did some different research. Some of you are using your informative essays. Your teacher will know that. Miss Mitchell will communicate that with your teachers. So today we're preparing for this performance task by creating an infographic that will visually represent your argument, and we will give and receive peer feedback. Before we begin, let's go ahead and do the entrance ticket for today. And this is on page 192 in your workbooks. So please go ahead and do this independently, and then you guys can have a little bit of discussion about this as a class, and then you can come back to me and we'll go ahead and get started with our work. All right, guys, so here's the performance task anchor chart. So what is the purpose of the performance task? So hopefully you guys answer that question in your entrance ticket, but you should have had some communication like the performance task is a culminating assignment that shows your efforts toward mastery and what you have learned and been able to apply in this particular unit. The second question says, what might audience members do with this information to help them in their lives? So as I told you guys, this is going to be a visual representation. So visually, people might be able to remember if you share statistics or if you share certain images that are bold and stand out to them. Okay, so let's look at our learning targets for today. We have two. I can create a visual representation of my argument essay, or, because we're taking out argument essay, of my research. So some of you did the informative essay last unit, and that's what you're going to use for your infographic. The second learning target says I can provide feedback to my peers to help them develop and strengthen their work. Now, in order for us to create our own infographic, we're going to analyze one. Okay, doesn't that make sense? That's what we do, right? That's how we learn. So I want you guys to look at this model infographic. Okay, your teacher can pull it up. You can see it right here on my screen. And I want you guys you guys know how this drives me insane when it doesn't fit in the box. I want you guys with a partner to discuss these questions. So how can the infographic help in a presentation? Why not just speak? What do visuals do? And what did you notice about the visuals in this presentation? So I want you guys to pause the video, talk with your partner through all four of these questions, and then I want you guys to have a discussion about these four questions out loud. So go ahead and do that now. Come back to me when you're ready to move on. All right, guys. So performance task criteria, okay? What criteria is needed for creating an infographic? So here's an extensive list. Let's go through it together. Illustrations, images, or graphics that help get your ideas across. Ideas are organized in shapes and arrows, not full sentences, keywords, and notes, simple and uncluttered, easy to understand with a quick glance. Headline recommendation for the audience to follow, right? Here's our headline, why you should use public transportation. Short, simple, uncluttered. The 2 points from your informative essay or whatever research you're using. Reasoning, evidence, and counterclaim. Okay. So we're ready to move on and start working on our infographic. So you have two options to do this. Unless Miss Mitchell has said otherwise, you guys might actually be submitting via Google Classroom. So I'm going to say that we probably need to focus on building this on the computer. So you're going to need your computer and maybe some paper if it helps you to draw or kind of brainstorm your ideas first. Okay. Okay. So I want you guys to, let's brainstorm a little bit, okay? So I want you to take your informative essay or whatever research that your teacher has instructed you that you're going to use, and I want you to brainstorm some ideas, draw some things, write some things down, kind of sketch out what this might look like, okay? And then we're going to provide some peer feedback to each other, all right? So first, let's brainstorm. So go ahead and pause the video and you put your thinking on a piece of paper, and then we'll come back together and I'll instruct you on how this peer feedback should look. So go ahead and do that now. All right, guys, the final step in your work for today is I want you to share what you've kind of brainstormed and sketched out with a peer. Remember, we need to show respect and compassion. We're not all artists, and that's okay. Here's how you give some meaningful feedback, and your teacher can certainly leave this on the board. You might say something like, the images in your infographic do a good job of showing blank. I like the way you convey your argument using blank. Or I think you can improve your infographic by blank. So I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. This is it for today. We're just in the brainstorming process. Go ahead and provide some peer feedback to one another, and I will see you guys in the next lesson soon.